Hey, what's up, guys? Quick little beer battle here between the very underrated British, or should I say English beer. Okay? I picked these two here. They're readily available. Fuller's London Pride. We got the south of England, right? And Newcastle, right? Brown Ale from way, way up north. I mean, they're probably the most northern city up there before you start to get to Scotland. I mean, I remember Newcastle Brown Ale from the '90s. There was some British beers that made it to America. I remember Bass Ale. I don't remember. I don't think it even exists anymore. Bass Ale was a big one, but so was Newcastle. Fuller's. I don't remember in the '90s. I remember later they had a bunch of beers. At one point, about 10 years ago, a lot of British beers were in America. They had Adams, Broadside. They had a lot of British beers, but now that doesn't seem to be as many. And Fuller's, I can only find London Pride. Fuller's had a bunch of other beers that I liked, but regardless, you might think it's an unfair battle. Newcastle Brown Ale, it doesn't have a good reputation as it used to have. People may think I should have gotten the Samuel Smith Nut Brown Ale instead to put it up against Fuller's because it's probably more of an even match. I'm just saying Newcastle is more mass produced. Now, you'll hear people talk about, especially Newcastle, they'll say the character is gone. With the Fuller's London Pride, I don't know what it is, but I'm going to show you something interesting, at least to me. Okay, all fun beer aside, all right, this globalization stuff is really interesting. This is bread. It's brewed and bottled in California and Chicago. In California, what? By Lagunitas, right? Lagunitas, I remember them. They were like a microbrew that I guess got bought and is now bigger. They're brewing Newcastle Brown Ale in America. Now, I've heard from Arkham Reporter that they do this in England. Acai Dry, okay, which is a great Japanese beer that I remember also from the 90s, is brewed in Italy, I think, when it's sent to Europe. Now, this is kind of is this proper? Well, anyway, the interesting thing though is that the very London Pride, right? So not the parade, the beer, the Griffin Brewery, Fuller's, outstanding. Still made in Chiswick, in London, right? I don't know what part of London that is, but you look here, and once again you see something interesting. What is this? Brewed by Acai UK Limited. What? That's right. Acai has bought Fuller's. So the Japanese own the British beer. This British brewery is still making it in England though, and Newcastle is owned by who knows by who. Let's see. Brewed about by Lagunitas. Did they buy it? They have to. There has to be some bigger InBev thing, but this is brewed either in Chicago or California. Now, I mean, Yuengling, obviously, in the video I did, Yuengling makes beer in Tampa, and they also make beer, I think, in North Carolina, in America to export. But I mean, that's within the country. I mean, this is like the international stage. It's kind of weird. Okay. The Schlenkerla, they ship their beer from their brewery in large tanks to be canned in Connecticut, apparently. So I know this is probably boring to you, like get to the beer, but like this, imported by Paulaner, right? We know Paulaner is Bavarian beer. White Plains, New York, for a Japanese-owned brewery in England. Yeah. Now internet. We like international stuff, but it's getting kind of weird, isn't it? But anyway, enough. Let's get to the beer. Of course, the North versus South, like the North, the brown ale, Newcastle, right? Working man beer, very malty beer, not very hoppy, but plain and honest, like the northern folk, right? Of course, London Pride, Fuller's, right? Well, you got your working class people in London back then. They wanted a nice beer. Amber ale. Now, I haven't heard it referred to as amber ale. It used to be considered like a bitter, But all right, enough of the yapping and the observations of the international capitalism. Let's drink the beer and see how they compare. Okay, so I have the London Pride in the proper glass. You see these a lot in like British shows in the 70s. These little pint pots. Actually, I remember these as a kid too. In America, we had these. Then the beer with the handle. Of course, the Germans have their own. But this is the London Pride. Nice, I guess, amber color. Right, nice color. Am I gonna smell it? Am I gonna do that? Nah. Alright, I'll smell it. It's citrusy. You can smell the hops, right? What do they call the Fuggles, the Kent? They call it the hops that they have in I believe in Kent, right? The part of England. They're kind of spicy. They're not crazy citrusy, but a little citrusy. They're not like the American ones, but they're kind of like subtle. They're fragrant. They're nice. Let's shut up and drink the damn beer. That is really good. It's not as carbonated as, let's say, a German beer, but there's more carbonation. It's not one of those nitro cans or anything like that, which I have a hard time with. Guinness, I could take it, but only Guinness. Other beers I can't see drinking like that. But yeah, it's it's nice. It's I guess you'd call it like a pale ale or something like that, but I think they used to just call these bitters. It's really nice. 4.7% alcohol. It's not like the 3% beer. I'll say this: the English were able to make like near beer taste better than Americans. That's for sure. The military beers like piss water. But I was surprised at some of the low alcohol beers that the British made that were really, really tasty. Session ales, right? You can have a session with these after working in the mines or whatever, working in the friggin', I guess in London you'd be working on the docks, and now you just want to have a beer or 2 or 10, mate, before you go home to your slag, friggin' rapping your ear off. Anyway, just kidding. Yeah, this is good. Fuller's ESB, the extra special bitter, used to be around, which was a stronger beer. Very rich, very good beer. I don't see it anywhere. This is the only beer I've seen, and the porter, which is excellent too. But I've only seen this around. Okay, they're pushing this around, and it's actually priced decently for these kind of imported beers. It's for a 4-pack of this, it's affordable. So, yeah, recommended, man. Like I said, you drink it, you feel like you're in you're with the hobbits. Just drinking your honest working man ale, Man, it's good. I know you hear me smack my lips, but let's go to the other one. Okay. All right, now we got the Newcastle brown ale, and we have it in these, what is it called, Nonics. These are the pint glasses from the north, right? That seem to have dominated the whole country because they're easier to store because they don't have this handle. Okay? The Germans don't seem to have any problem with that though, but it could just be a reason. I think it was mentioned that by the other Michael Jackson. If any of you remember Michael Jackson, he was a British beer expert historian. I think he was part of the campaign for real ale, which disgraced itself recently for a number of reasons during the psyopocalypse, and various other issues. But regardless, this is the brown ale. As you can see, it's brown. This is one of the few dark beers that they had back in the 90s that I remember. There was another one too. Do you remember there was an American beer called Honey Brown? Had like a bee on it. It was. I don't remember that as well fondly, but I remember drinking this. Oh, excuse me. Nice head. Looks nice. All right, let's have a drink of this honest working man miners, or up in Newcastle. I think they're shipbuilders up there. So let's. Okay. Now, I know people are saying that this beer doesn't taste as good as it used to. I don't even think Newcastle's most famous Iseleb Morgoth, I don't even think he drinks this. I think he actually drinks the higher class beer at this point. So I don't think he drinks the Newcastle brown ale anymore. But this is not bad. Okay? The Samuel Smith's nut brown ale is better than this, but it's for the price. This is actually not bad. Now, like I said, I didn't grow up in northern England, so I can't tell you how the beer's taste has changed. But it's a nice contrast between this one. Which one would I prefer? I probably would give the edge to the London Pride. Okay, but this beer is decent. It's decent. If it went down in quality, I wouldn't know. I apologize. If people can put in the comments if they're familiar with the old Newcastle. I drank Newcastle more than once back in the 90s. I don't. The 90s are like a blur sometimes, even with my great autistic memory. But I can only go by my taste buds now, and this is not bad. This is not bad. And like I said, it's a battle. It's a war that we all win because we get decent tasting beer. And just wanted to represent the overlooked English beer. So the stuff is, when the stuff is good, it's up there. It's up there. So, all right, enough of the alcoholism. Later.